Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the NXT review for the 20th of January 2021. There's a lot of things in this show I don't like, but in comparison with uh, the NXT of previous weeks and this week's poor AEW showing, this was the better show of the night, and it hurts me to say that because I'd rather support a WWE alternative. In any event, they kind of moved through this goofy Dusty Classic thing. I say goofy because it should go to Cody, the rights to the Dusty name. If the McMahons were even remotely reputable people, that's what would happen. Anyway, first, opening round in the Dusty Classic, Leon Ruff and Kushida defeat Gargano and Theory to advance in the Dusty Classic. Kushida pins Gargano in what wound up being a pretty decent match. Kushida and Ruff advance to round 2 of the tournament, and Kushida also scores another victory over the North American champion. I think he's got 2, maybe even 3 now. After the bout got going, the Way manages to take Kushida out for quite a while. They get heat on him till he falls backwards into his own corner. Ruff makes the tag. Ruff gets in the ring, springboard, missile drop kick, and the old flying forearm. Ruff comes in, cleaning house on the Way. Theory catches him with torture rack bomb, and Ruff gets dropped into a sit-out power bomb. Ruff kicks out of the near fall, and then they go to picture-in-picture commercial, which I continually hate. And then the Way does some good double teaming on Ruff, and he is still able to kind of regain some balance. Theory and Gargano hit a springboard, or Ruff hits a springboard cutter. Kushida comes in via the top rope. He hits a flying axe handle. Theory tries to make the save, but instead gets hit with a back handspring elbow from Kushida. Gargano knocks him off the apron. Kushida comes back a moment later with a flying tornado DDT off the apron. Good move, but not necessary here. Back in the ring, Kushida goes for an armbar. Gargano counters him. Kushida counters that and applies a cross arm breaker. Theory makes the save. Theory goes for a super kick, but this is not enough to rock Kushida. Ruff comes up with a save, and he runs down the top rope. Ruff dives on the floor. Kushida is back to the arm of Gargano. Kushida drops Gargano with a punch and then nails a suplex. Kushida's trapped to the arm into a hammerlock style position, executes a snap suplex, and then bridge to score pinfall. Good match, and able to hold attention. Pete Dunne cuts a promo on Finn Balor. Their match coming up looks like fun. Malcolm Bevins backstage near the office of Regal. He's there to lobby for Tyler Rush. Mackenzie Mitchell asks basically a useless question. Rush said he has a match later on with Bronson Reed. Bevins is clearly worried about this, but tries to make the best of the situation. Karrion Kross defeats Ashante the Adonis. As one would expect, this is a quick squash. Cross uses the Saito suplex twice and hits some forearms and gets a pinfall win. Desmond Troy is in the ring, checking on Adonis. Cross chokes him out, puts him in the straitjacket. A vignette featuring the new MSK, otherwise known as the Rascals, in Impact. They look like a fresh act, and they do look sort of like a team that could do something in NXT. Tori Storm and Mercedes Martinez cuts a promo, threatening Kacy Catanzaro and Kayden Carter ahead of their match later on that very few care about. Imperium, Marcel Bartel, and Fabian Aichner defeat Lucha House Party, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado to advance in the Dusty Classic. Dorado pins Bartel, and Lucha House Party advances to the second round. Not a fan of this. Lucha House Party is a dead team in my mind. But anyway, mat wrestling at the start. Luchadors go off into high flying stuff. Metalik does a swan dive off the shoulders of Dorado. Imperium comes back with a more ground and pound style. Lucha House Party fires up again. Dorado was caught with a dive. Aichner smashes him into the ring apron, and there's a slam on the floor before commercial. Dorado manages to hit a tornado DDT, hot tag to Metalik, and hits a crossbody. Walks down the top rope. Metalik springboards into a Rana and a double springboard into a Cabrata. Gets a near fall for Metalik. Metalik is cut off, and Imperium gets hit with a spike DDT, or Imperium hits him with a spike DDT. Dorado comes in, makes the save. Lucha House Party basically missile dropkick code red combination for a near fall. And the heels have to make a save of their own. Lucha House Party hit a bunch of power moves and then come back with more high flying stuff. Metalik does an acai moonsault to the floor. Dorado gets hit from behind by Bartel. Roll up for a near fall. Dorado answers with a super kick and hits a shooting star press and gets the win. Lucha House Party in the next endeavor meets El Legado de Fantasma. Alexander Wolf appears after the match and gets attention. Beth Phoenix introduces the Women's Dusty Classic. Kayden Carter and Kacy Catanzaro defeat Tori Storm and Mercedes Martinez for the first match of the Women's Dusty Classic. Catanzaro fights underneath and pins Storm. Baby faces have help from Io Shirai. She attacks Mercedes Martinez at ringside. The only reason I'm not flipping out over Martinez and Storm losing is because it hopefully leads to Martinez, a former colleague of mine when I was on the Indies, winning the NXT Women's Championship somewhere down the road from Io Shirai. Heat on Catanzaro before commercial. Carter comes and gets a hot tag after the break. Everybody gets involved, all four women. Storm punishes Carter with a half crab. Shirai runs in, throws Martinez over the announcer's table. Storm's distracted, gets outnumbered, and Catanzaro hits multiple rotation dive, and she covers Storm for the pin. Catanzaro and Carter are pumped and happy in their post-match interview. William Regal and Finn Balor have a meeting backstage. Balor needs a tag partner. Regal says to keep your enemies close. Bronson Reed defeats Tyler Rust with Bevins. And Reed pins Rust after a tsunami. Rust gets in, very little offense. Reed dominates the match. Finn Balor is saying some people owe him a favor. And post-commercial, Balor goes into the Undisputed Era locker room, confronts Kyle O'Reilly, asks him if he's in. O'Reilly said he's in. Balor and O'Reilly will team next week against Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan. Santos Escobar is cutting a promo about being the champ, and he begins to expand what a champion is. He basically puts himself as the best champion in NXT. And then Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza get brought up. And then Lucha House Party comes back for that. They're brawling. Kurt Stallion runs in. And then this, I suppose, could lead to something on 205 Live. Not that anybody watches that show. Stallion challenges Escobar for the Cruiserweight Champion next week on NXT, and that's accepted. Next week also has quarterfinal matches. Grizzled Young Veterans versus Ruff and Kushida. MSK meets Drake Maverick and Killian Dane in another tournament match. Balor and O'Reilly and Burch and Lorcan is, I guess, your main event for next week's NXT. Timothy Thatcher defeats Tommaso Ciampa in a pit fight. Thatcher is the winner of the fight. He submits Ciampa in a match that was quite good. Match starts with them on a platform above the fight pit, and it's almost like a scaffold match. Then they drop down during a commercial break. They work over each other's shoulders. Ciampa sends Thatcher into the cage. Thatcher nails a suplex and goes back to the arm. He does the finger break spot. Ciampa fights back. Thatcher applies a rear naked choke. Thatcher hits a low blow to break the hold. Referee doesn't notice. Ciampa drags Thatcher over. Tries the draping DDT. Good number of strikes from both guys. Ciampa sends Thatcher's head into the cage. And then Ciampa hits the fairy tale ending. Ciampa goes for a sleeper. Thatcher counters and sends Ciampa head first into the cage. Ciampa's leg gets trapped in the cage. Ciampa is hanging upside down. Thatcher applies a stretch muffler from this position, and Ciampa taps out. Interesting win. Hopefully they do something longer term with Thatcher. I don't have faith they will, but I think they should. And that will close the NXT review for this week. NXT was by far the better show because at least it advanced some storylines. Anyway, we'll be back with more Wrestling Challenge maybe tonight, definitely tomorrow, and some Mid-South stuff as well. We'll be back, and keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.